can Bitcoin still reach $100,000 in 2021? Wait a second, Lark, what are you talking about here, man? Bitcoin, $100,000, 2021. Have you seen the markets, man? What are you talking about? You're loco, dude. Bitcoin's going down to $3,000. It ain't going up to $100,000, buddy. Get your head screwed on straight. Okay. Just hold on a second. We're going to be okay, guys. We're going to be okay. In this video, I want to break down the necessary catalysts to see Bitcoin actually getting up to $100,000 by the end of the year, examining if it's actually still something that could logically happen for Bitcoin. So that's the understanding we're going to go into this video with, looking at some different things, examining some different charts, some different ideas, some different catalysts that could make that happen. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing, so if that is a topic that you would like to learn some more about, then please make sure to subscribe to the channel, gently tap on the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm, and of course, click on the notification bell to know when to put out a new video. Now, real quick before we do jump into this topic, if you're not yet a member to Wealth Mastery, you need to check it out. It is a weekly cryptocurrency investor report. We also talk about stocks sometimes too. It's mostly crypto focused. Every week you're going to get a deep dive altcoin report, interview with an industry leader, top tier technical analysis, the latest, most profitable airdrops, the latest hottest token sales, a step-by-step DeFi tutorial, and much, much more, all for less than $10 a week. Meaning this is the most value-packed and at the same time most affordable investor report on the market. Click on the link down below me here where you can learn more and become a member today. Now with that being said, let's dive into this topic. Can Bitcoin hit $100,000 in 2021? Well, here's the first most important thing that you need to take away from this conversation. It doesn't really matter if it does do that in 2021 or if it's 2022 or whenever. It's going to happen. I have full conviction that we are going to see a 6-digit Bitcoin in the future. The only question is when, not if that's going to happen. But hey, why not talk about by the end of the year? That's a fun idea, so that's what we're going to do for this video. Okay, now with all of that being said, is there any precedent for an asset having a massive giant run-up, then a long, brutal corrective period, followed by actually a spectacular blow-off top later that year? Well, yes, of course there is, and that asset is named Ethereum. You can see here on this chart, we had a massive run-up back in 2017 for Ethereum. Actually left out the massive run-up part, but the massive run-up part was definitely on there. Then we had a giant correction for Ethereum where it actually went down 69%. Let's just ignore this red candle over here. There was some things happening on Coinbase that particular day. But anyway, it went down 70%. That's dramatic. And yet, it still finished the year 237% higher than the all-time high for Ethereum at $400 some. But it took about 6 months of ranging sideways for that to happen. So it went through this very long corrective period, bounced up and down a little bit, grinded sideways, and then interest picked up, and in a very short amount of time, Ethereum had its blow-off top after a farther 237% rally. Now, for Bitcoin to get to $100,000, it would actually only be about a 50% pump beyond the previous all-time high watermark for Bitcoin. Not that big of an ask, especially considering that Ethereum did a 237% pump after a rather similar situation. So, food for thought there for you. Obviously, history does not repeat, but it sure does rhyme quite often. I also like this chart here from Benjamin Cohen about the Bitcoin cycle ROI. So either this was the shortest cycle with the lowest ROI, or we're going to get a pretty spectacular second act coming through for Bitcoin at some point. The purple chart here, that is our current price action for Bitcoin. Food for thought. Once again, this gives you a lot of perspective on where we might be within this cycle. Are we simply going through a corrective phase like the 2013 bull market where we had this giant correction. Everybody said Bitcoin's dead, it's all over, and then blammo, blasted straight off. Is it like 2017 where we had a big corrective phase and everybody, oh, too much FUD, too much China, whatever, and then boom, massive blast off? We could be very much looking at a very similar situation here for Bitcoin in the coming weeks or months, probably months, right? This is also a great one from Charts BTC. So this chart is showing us that the current market cycle does not look a lot like previous market cycles in terms of its overall price movement, right? So you can see here, that's our current cycle compared to previous cycles. One of these does not look the same. Again, either we're talking about basically the shortest and lowest ROI cycle of the Bitcoin cycles yet, or this cycle is maybe just not over yet, and we still have some fuel in the tank for the bulls. Also, this is the Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve. It actually barely got past its midpoint and was very far away from reaching a cycle top. So we would expect the price to actually come up to hit the top band here, which is around $120,000, $130,000. It never got there. As you can see, we just came up over the middle line for just a little bit before coming back down. Now, obviously, it doesn't have to get up to that top range line there, but it's curious that it hasn't done it. So a bit more hopium there for you for the second half of the year for Bitcoin. That being said, we are very bearish in terms of sentiment right now. If you go to my comment section here on YouTube or my comment section over on Twitter, it's pretty grim. It's pretty grim. A lot of people are super bearish, super pessimistic. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index has basically been below 25 for more than 2 months now, showing that there is just an incredible amount of bearishness and panic and fear and desperation running through the markets. That tends not to be very optimistic sentiment, right? People are not feeling bullish when they're this bearish. You need that positive sentiment to come back into the market. But things can change very, very quickly in crypto. And look, we've had this just steady stream of stories. The regulations are coming, the regulators are coming, the US regulators, the European regulators, China's banning Bitcoin, they're kicking out miners, crypto's gonna go to zero. But all those news stories, all that stuff, all that manipulation, we've talked about the manipulation from the big financial institutions. As soon as they're ready, the switch can just be flipped back to bullishness basically at a moment's notice, where we start seeing, crypto's the new paradigm of money. Let's all buy Bitcoin again. Your JP Morgan's saying to buy Bitcoin. Goldman Sachs is saying to buy Bitcoin. These guys are saying to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to $500,000, all this stuff. The exact same kind of media stories we saw at the start of the year. And then all of those guys changed their tune a few months later. Of course, many of them after having sold the top. And now, of course, they're going to be reaccumulating their positions. And because this is such a small market still, how do you think the market would react to Apple or Facebook or Microsoft buying $2 or $3 billion of the Bitcoin, even $500 million of the Bitcoin? These companies are literally sitting on billions, in some cases hundreds of billions of dollars of just cash money. Apple and Microsoft have market caps over $2 trillion. The entire cryptocurrency market cap's only $1.3 billion, so a buy by one of these companies of even $500 million or $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, which, hey, there's precedent for that. Tesla's done it. MicroStrategy's done it. Other companies have bought serious amounts of Bitcoin. That would be a very positive narrative and would very quickly return focus to, hey, actually, maybe we should be paying attention to this asset class. The fact that we haven't had these kind of more bullish narratives in the last few months and it's basically only been negative stuff tells you a lot about the kind of stuff going on behind the scenes here for the market. But just remember, that sentiment can change very, very, very fast. I did a poll the other day. Can Bitcoin still reach $100,000 by the end of the year? Well, 44.8% of the 25,000 people polled say that yes, they believe it will still hit $100,000 by the end of the year. 28% say it's not happening. Shout out to the 11% of people who are just don't care and they're stacking sats, man. Just stack sats all day. Dollar cost average, baby. Love it. Now, here's the interesting thing. Will the crowd carry the day, right? The largest group here is yes, I believe it will. So is that majority opinion going to be the one that wins the day, or is the herd wrong and perhaps the contrarian opinion will be the one to get it? Again, it all comes down to the narratives that are starting to be built and what the media starts to push in terms of what they want us to see about Bitcoin and whether that invites a swell of buyers to come back into the market. The thing that we need that would, of course, help that media frenzy go is obviously new fuel, a new spark to get everyone excited again. Now, back in 2020, we had the DeFi summer. Everybody's getting stupid rich off of farming food memes, and it was nuts. Then institutions, we had them buying in Q4 and Q1 that gave people a lot of bullish excitement. Then early Q2, meme coins started to take off. That was a big thing, but meme coins were rather short-lived in their impact on the market because most of the meme coins are not good coins. Let's just leave it at that. But the question then becomes, what is our big spark going to be? What can be the next thing that pumps up the market? Well, of course, it's got to be the Bitcoin ETF. Come on, man. Come on, America. Let's get done. Let's do it, buddy. Currently, there are 13 applications sitting at the SEC waiting for approval. Now, the SEC has delayed decision-making on 3 or 4 of these already, but the applications right now for these Bitcoin ETFs from the biggest, the most respected companies in the financial industry have ARK Invest and Fidelity and Grayscale and VanEck, the New York Digital Investment Group, loads of others. These are big players in the ETF game. They're big players in the finance world. These are the guys trying to get Bitcoin ETFs approved right now. Canada's done it. Brazil's done it. There is now a track record of countries that have approved Bitcoin ETFs and where things are working fine. Everything's okay. Nothing exploded after these Bitcoin ETFs were approved. So the Bitcoin ETF question, it's when, not if. When, not if. The question then becomes, will that when be sometime in 2021? Our arbitrary date for Bitcoin needing to reach 6 digits? Well, it sure could be. I mean, there's precedent in the charts. We all know how quickly sentiment can change. One Bitcoin ETF approval would absolutely spark the market like madness. If we see a few of these Bitcoin ETFs approved, crazy town. Absolute crazy town. Remember, when gold ETFs were approved in the USA, it sparked off a 7-year, 400% gain bull run for the gold markets. So whether we get the Bitcoin ETF approved Q4 2021 after the summer in North America, right? Or maybe it's Q1 2022 or Q2 2022. It is coming. We will get Bitcoin ETFs in the USA. And I know that some people are very pessimistic on that. We've been hearing about Bitcoin ETFs for a few years now. We do have a new administration at the SEC. We do have much more serious players angling to get a Bitcoin ETF. So it's very possible that we could see this in the not so distant future. And I think that really this is probably going to be the biggest, most important catalyst that we could see to really bring the bulls back into the market. Obviously, other things can come into play too. Some really positive regulatory stuff could come out, or France could legalize Bitcoin as legal tender. Probably not going to happen, but something like that unexpected could happen. Or we could see some more major companies buying up Bitcoin. That would bring back in that old institutions are buying Bitcoin. You got to get on board because this company or that company is going to be the next one to buy some Bitcoin, et cetera, et cetera. That would continue to fuel that speculative edge here for Bitcoin. But the ETFs, they're the golden ticket for the price to go to 6 digits. because it's going to bring so much money into the market. So much money. It'll be crazy. Anyway, those of course are just my 2 Satoshis. A bit of hopium for you, so I hope you enjoyed it. Your question for today: do you believe that Bitcoin can reach $100,000 by the end of the year? Or have I been hitting that hopium bong just a little bit too hard recently? Let me know down below in the comments section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.